Hendrick Motorsports is the ultimate super team in NASCAR history, and since 2002, this team has fielded 4 full-time Cup Series entries. With that, though, many have noted that there is usually a fourth guy, the fourth Hendrick driver, the outlier, who seemingly lags behind. So today we're going to kind of look at what has almost become a meme at this point of the fourth Hendrick driver. And here's a few prerequisites we'll look at. First off, we are not going to look at rookies. So no 2005 Kyle Busch, no 2018 William Byron, no part-timers as well. Yeah, I get it. Somebody who's part-time might lag behind, but just because of that, I don't think they should be included with full-time drivers. And this needs to be for an extended length of time and kind of viewed by the public this way. So no Jeff Gordon in 2012 as a definitive fourth Hendrick driver just because, well, that was 1 year. I don't think that was enough time to really look at it. So let's start it out. For 2002 and 2003, it was a bit of an adjustment period for Hendrick Motorsports. The 25 team was definitely the one lagging behind, but they had different drivers, most of which was Joe Nemechek, who more or less was that fourth driver for Hendrick Motorsports. Running in the middle of the pack, the 25 team really didn't do anything special in this time, and no matter who the driver was, they were going to lag behind the likes of Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Jimmy Johnson. The guy who was consistently lagging behind, though, in 2004 to 2006 was Brian Vickers. Vickers was a really young driver with a lot of upside. Winning the 2003 Busch Series Championship, coming to Cup in 2004 was seen as, I think, the next logical step. And in a lot of ways, he was both friends and a pet project of Ricky Hendrick, a talented driver and a talented owner who were looking to make their own mark for the long term of NASCAR from this point forward. Unfortunately, tragedy struck with Hendrick Motorsports in 2004, and Vickers never really lived up to his potential. He'd have flashes during his Cup tenure, especially at Pocono a couple times, and just every now and then he'd pop up and be one of the guys to beat. But it was mostly a frustrating, wreck-filled time for him. He had one win, and that one win was one of the most controversial wins of the 2000s. After 2006, Vickers was booted out of the team and left for Red Bull, and in 2007, it would be Casey Mears taking over this car. Mears was a bit of a head-scratcher for a lot of people, though he was close friends with Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, so that probably had something to do with this, and for the fact that he stayed in 2008. He had a poor start that put him in the hole in 2007, but he did at least win a crown jewel with the Coke 600, his only Cup win. He finished outside of the chase that year, which wasn't necessarily terrible as he did turn it on later in the year and become more consistent, but the issue was that the top 3 guys at Hendrick finished 1st, 2nd, and 5th in the points with Johnson, Gordon, and Kyle Busch. But with that, Kyle Busch would actually be the one leaving Hendrick that year for Dale Earnhardt Jr. to enter the 88 car, which was Mears' 25 team. Mears would then go to the number 5 squad, a team that finished top 5 in points. It looked like he and Hendrick Motorsports were set up for a year to remember. And unfortunately, you can't remember it because it was abysmal. The top 3 guys at Hendrick, of Gordon Jr. and Johnson, easily made the chase, while Mears struggled to get a top 20 points finish and only 1 top 5 on the year. The rest of the Hendrick guys had double-digit top 5s. He was clearly not the driver advertised, and after that year, Hendrick moved on from him in place of Mark Martin. But Martin was not the one immediately who would be that lone guy in the back. Instead, it was the aforementioned Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the rebranded 88 squad now. He fell off hard in late 2008. He had been really consistent early in the year and looked like a championship threat, but unfortunately, they just could not get that lightning to stay in the bottle. And in 2009, with the super team of Martin, Gordon, Johnson, and Earnhardt, he had a nightmare that would go on for 2 years. From 2009 to 2010, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had 5 top 5s and 13 top 10s in 72 races, finishing 25th and 21st in the standings, being outperformed by the likes of Vickers as well as Mears when they were at Hendrick Motorsports. And with Tony Arey Jr. being booted, Lance McGrew would not help any of that whatsoever. The 2 years for Earnhardt are amazing to look back on for how different they are with similar results. 2009, well, I'll say this, Junior had real speed at different points, but it was a crash-filled, mistake-filled season. Earnhardt never really sniffed the chase. He was at best a 15th place team, and at worst, the 25th place team they ended up being. In 2010, they were just playing slow. Yeah, they made it as high as 11th in the points during the summer, but from that point forward in the second half of the year, skidded back to 21st and were nowhere near a chase caliber team. But in 2011, with the big reshuffling of teams, Earnhardt would be paired with Steve Letarte and begin a career renaissance, thus leading to the 2 years where there really wasn't a definitive fourth Hendrick guy. 2011 and 2012. Hendrick just was in a bit of a changing period. 2011, it was clearly Mark Martin. He was slowing down at the end of 2010, and by 2011, he was a shell of the driver he was before. With only 2 top 5s that year and 10 top 10s, he was the lone guy to miss the chase. But all 4 of them made the chase in 2012. You could probably say that Jeff Gordon would be the weakest one that year, but he still got 2 wins and finished top 10 in half the races. This overall was just one of Hendrick's strongest years. Unfortunately, though, the 4 teams combined could not keep it going moving forward. So from 2013 to 2017, it would be Martin's 2012 replacement Kasey Kahne taking the mantle. He started hot in 2012, finished 4th in points, and it was clear he was getting better as the year went on and was looking to build something. But the Gen 6 era never really suited Kahne much. And from that point forward, they went from 19 top 10s in 2012 to having just 6 in 2017 before being kind of booted from the team again. He performed worse than his teammates almost every single year in almost every single category of statistic. Gordon, Johnson, and Jr. were killing it for the most part in 2013 through 2015. They were championship contenders and guys who were making the championship 4 or should have made the championship 4, while Kahne was lagging behind. He'd get wins, but it would definitely seem like more of a surprise when Kasey Kahne won. Elliott in his rookie year in 2016 was better as well, and Dale Jr. in half the starts of Kahne had 2 more top 5s on the season. And even in 2017, when he was a shell of his former self, Dale Jr. outperformed Kahne in just about every way outside of Kahne's lone crazy Brickyard win. Kasey Kahne just didn't have as much of the high-end performance at this time that his teammates did. And when he was off, he was way off. He just couldn't cut it at Hendrick. Thus leads us to the present day, 2018 to the modern era, where Alex Bowman has been seen as the guy in the back for Hendrick Motorsports. And to me, this is a huge head scratcher and definitely public perception over reality a lot of times. He entered full-time driving at Hendrick in 2018, in their worst season possibly ever as a 4-car organization. But he was only outperformed that year by Chase Elliott. He was better than Jimmy Johnson, and he was also better than William Byron, who was a rookie. Plus, when you look at basically his career since then, he's won every year outside of 2023 when he was dealing with a big injury. And outside of 2023, he has never been statistically far off with top 5s and top 10s, and sometimes even wins like 2021 when he got 4 from his Hendrick Motorsport teammates. And he had some pretty good teammates in that time. Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Kyle Larson. He has been way better than people think. 8 wins since 2019 as well. And he's just not been, I think, as flashy as the likes of Elliott and Byron. 2 popular and highly talented guys, as well as Kyle Larson, who is one of the best drivers in the world. He's just not bad at all, and he doesn't deserve the hate that he gets and the rumors that come out about his job security. He deserves more respect. If you look back since 2002, he has consistently been the best performing quote-unquote 4th Hendrick driver. So now I'll leave it off to you. Now I want to know who your favorite Hendrick driver ever was. Let me know down in the comments below. All right, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to my channel members for your continued support. Have a good one.